My stepmother, Vivian, had always been ambitious, but I never expected her to plot against me so openly. For months, I noticed subtle manipulations, misplaced documents, whispered suggestions to my father, and attempts to make me look incapable at every family gathering. Then one evening, I overheard her in the study, talking to my father, Richard, about how they could cut me out of the family inheritance and take control of my father's assets while I was too busy with my own life to notice. My blood ran cold, but I stayed calm, listening without interrupting. I could hear the confidence in her voice, the assumption that I was completely unaware that she and my father were orchestrating everything successfully. But Vivian didn't know one crucial thing. I had already secured my future. I had quietly managed my finances, handled my investments, and ensured that my assets, business ventures, and property were all accounted for in ways that no one, least of all her, could interfere with. While she was plotting, I had been steps ahead, quietly untouchable. The next morning, my father called me into his office, his tone unusually serious. I could sense that Vivian had filled his head with accusations, half-truths, and manipulations meant to turn him against me. But I walked in confident, calm, and prepared, carrying a binder with all my accounts, business agreements, and legal protections. As he started speaking, I let him finish, nodding thoughtfully, and then I calmly said, "Dad, I know everything she's planning, and I've already made sure that my life, my work, and my assets are fully protected. Any attempt to undermine me won't succeed because it's all accounted for legally and strategically." For a moment, I saw the shock in his eyes, a flicker of realization that my stepmother's plans were meaningless against my foresight. He looked between me and the binder, silent, and then nodded slowly, finally understanding that I wasn't a naive target. The tension in the room shifted, the balance of power quietly, but definitively, moving back into my hands. Later, I confronted Vivian with calm certainty, never yelling, never accusing, only stating the facts. "I know what you've been trying to do, and it won't work," I said, letting the quiet authority in my voice do the work that anger could not. Her expression froze, the smugness she had carried for months vanishing instantly as she realized that her assumptions had been wrong. Every manipulation, every whispered plan, every attempt to control my father and my future was now pointless. I didn't need to explain the details. The documents, my preparation, and the calm confidence I projected spoke louder than words. She had assumed ignorance, but she had underestimated me completely. My father, now aware of the full picture, looked at her with a mix of disappointment and newfound clarity, realizing how deeply she had tried to manipulate the family dynamic. By the end of the week, the tension settled into a quiet, unspoken understanding. Vivian no longer attempted to control or undermine me, and my father, humbled, acknowledged that I had handled the situation not with aggression but with foresight, preparation, and composure. I realized that sometimes the best defense against betrayal isn't confrontation or anger. It's preparation, strategic action, and the ability to remain calm while everyone else assumes you are unaware. And as I looked at my secured assets, my well-managed accounts, and the careful plans I had quietly put in place, I felt a sense of satisfaction that was deeper than triumph. Vivian had plotted against me, thinking she held the upper hand, but she had been blind to the fact that I had already won. It was a lesson in patience, strategy, and the quiet power of knowing your own position while others operate under false assumptions. In the end, the family drama unfolded exactly as I had anticipated, and for the first time in months, I felt entirely untouchable, not out of arrogance, but out of careful, deliberate preparation that ensured my life, my work, and my future could never be threatened by manipulation or deceit.